Okay, so in the half reaction, if you needed to include the hydrogen in the waters, then yes, you would have to. Like, if I were to have something like this, where I know it can't be broken up because it's a polyatomic, and then it goes into this, on both sides, you have to have the atoms being balanced. You also have to have the charge being balanced. So the Mn is fine, but the oxygen is not. You can't just have 4 oxygens disappear. So then at that point, you have to include the waters. Okay, and that is part of the half reaction. So you would go through and you'd say, okay, I'm going to add the water to get the oxygen. Now I've put in hydrogen, so I need to go back and add that. And at that point, you would balance with your electrons. And that would be, I think, 5. Okay, so that would be a full half reaction. So it has the electrons, and it has all the atoms being balanced, and you also should have your charge being balanced, and we use the electrons to balance that. Okay, so were there any other questions on that, or do we have anything that you guys wanted me to talk about for KSP? Is everybody okay with just doing a regular KSP problem? Like, if I give you the molar solubility of something and I ask for the KSP, can you do that? Or can giving you a KSP, can you find the molar solubility? Because that would be the most basic for KSP. KSP and entropy relate. Okay, so if we're talking about, okay, so if we have something that's going to dissolve into water. Okay, silver chloride is going to be a precipitate. It's not very soluble. So the KSP is actually going to be very, very small. Okay, it's very, very small. So if KSP is very small, anytime that you dissolve this, you still increase entropy. It's just not, you're not going to increase it to a great amount. You're going to actually increase it by a very, very small amount. So if you have this process and it happens, yeah, you're still increasing entropy if you do dissolve it, but it only happens to a very small extent. I am just starting to record, like I started recording a couple minutes ago, so I'm going to record it, yeah. Okay, so does anybody have any issues, like you're solving for molar solubility, you're solving for KSP, just under basic conditions? I think, like, honestly, the trickiest part is remembering, like, if you were to have a coefficient of 2, is including it in not only the KSP expression, but also, like, when you make the ice table, because it's not going to be x, it's going to be 2x then. But for the most part, I think it's basic equilibrium stuff. Okay, molar solubility will be the amount of the reactant. So whatever's on this side, whatever's on the reactant side, if it's dissolving, okay, the molar solubility is talking about the reactant here. So how much of this will dissolve in 1 liter of water? So it's not really the same thing as molarity. Well, yes and no. So when we talk about molar solubility in terms of KSP, we're talking about how much of this, how many moles of this will dissolve into 1 liter of water. Now, if everything is a 1-to-1 ratio, I know that like how much, let's say that my molar solubility is like 1.0 times 10 to the negative 6 moles per liter. Well, since this is all 1-to-1, you're still going to look at your ice table, but you don't have to worry about the coefficients as much. Yes and no. So it's almost the same thing. But you have to remember, we're talking about this dissolving. Okay, so I think, how many of you guys, I think most of you have already watched the KSP video, right? Okay, and then how many of you have watched like maybe like the next 2 parts where you're looking at the common ion effect and also like, will it make a precipitate? So if you have this substance and this substance and you mix it together, is it actually going to make a precipitate or not? Does anybody have any questions about that? Has anybody started to take a look at like either the FRQs or the worksheet? Okay. What I do advise is like as you progress through the videos, make sure that you are looking at the practice stuff. Like I said, those things are optional. I do recommend you do the FRQs though. And that way you can come up with questions. So like when we have the live sessions, that way you can say, okay, I definitely need help with this. But what I'll do, maybe the next maybe I'll do it either Wednesday or tomorrow. Well, probably not tomorrow's. I'll do it on Wednesday, like the Wednesday session. Like I can pull one of those FRQs and we can just like work through it. That way that we are doing something a little bit more productive. Also, does anybody like having this time slot? Or should I, because what I could do is I could move this time slot to like Thursday or Friday morning. Not this Friday, but, or a different afternoon session, like earlier. I don't know. I don't know what everybody's availability is. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look into like moving this up then. I'm gonna like look into moving all my sessions up a little bit. Just because like this is like, I don't know, maybe people wanna like go have dinner now or something. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait on, okay, so tomorrow I'm gonna have another session early in the morning. I think it's like 9:30. I'm trying to have them earlier now. So 9:30 in the morning. So you can bring questions, and anybody who has questions on KSP stuff can ask those questions. And then Wednesday, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over one of those FRQs. So Wednesday will be like an FRQ day. I'll pick one of those FRQs and just go over it. And then did everybody see, like, if you wanted to, you can like make appointments with me too. Like you can go onto my website and click on the thing. So like if you know you have a question and like I can't just answer it through an email, you can make an appointment and I can like send you like a link to something. So I saw a few people just came in. Does anybody have any questions about KSP? Yes. So we're going to do, well, a very small scale test, pretty much. So what I'm going to do is anything that I think that they could potentially test on KSP, more redox. Like I'm going to kind of put that together into like a miniature summative, or not a summative, but like a test. It'll probably be mostly FRQ based, because you guys got to get used to like we're not doing multiple choice. I mean, not that I'm saying we won't use multiple choice to practice before the test, but it's mostly going to be FRQ practice, because that's what we're going to have to do. So expect that not this week, but the end of next week. What I'll do is I'll probably unlock, like it'll be like a window. I don't know how long yet, and you can just go in there and then take it, and it'll be timed too, just like any FRQ would be timed. Okay, so if I don't have any questions, I'm going to let you guys go, and you can go eat dinner or whatever. But Wednesday, I'm definitely going to pull one of the FRQs and go over it, and then I will do another session tomorrow morning. But remember, all of it is all optional. So like if you feel fine, then that's good. I'm going to try to be better about recording the sessions and then putting them either on my YouTube site or on Schoology. Does anybody have any other final questions, thoughts, anything? All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you go then. If you don't have anything else for me. Bye, guys. Bye. No problem. All right, guys. Bye. Have a good night.
You are currently the only